Panther Nation, what is good? Welcome back to Two Fans in the Stands. I'm your favorite armchair GM, CJ.
And I am your favorite couch scout extraordinaire, Tony. Come on one time.
All right, Panther Nation, the result was not what we wanted, but it was something that we were looking forward to all season long, and we're going to talk about it. Let's get it. Cousin, cousin. The Panthers were
What's
close,
happening?
man. That was a hell of a game. And I know this may
Yeah,
sound weird, but that was probably our best game of the season, even though we lost. You know, well, our best game offensively. Let me say it like that. All right.
right.
Yeah. So how you doing today, cuz?
Man, I can't call it, man. You know me, as usual, six in one hand, half a dozen in the other. Guess I called even. Had a
Call it
good
even. There you
Christmas,
go.
you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
hope all my loved ones, all family and friends had a great Christmas as well. We didn't do too much. We just chilled, had some good food, watched some football games, and that was about it. How about yourself, man?
Oh, just about the same, man. Just about the same. Got to watch my kids open up all their gifts, and I got a few things, and got my wife a bunch of stuff, and it was good. But and again, Merry Christmas to all the Panther Nation out there and everybody that subscribed to Two Fans in the Stands. And if you're not and you're watching this, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notification bells so you know when our videos come out. We appreciate all the love and support. All right. So
Yeah.
Tony, all right, now getting back to the game on Sunday. What were your thoughts of the game? Okay, because even though we took the L, I think it was a lot to a lot to be happy for from this Packers Panthers game. What you think about it?
Yeah, I think for the most part, the main thing that I wanted to see was the progression of Bryce Young. That's something that I've talked about ever since probably week 6, week 7 after Frank Wright got fired. I was just a
Mm-hmm.
little bit concerned about how his firing was going to affect Bryce Young's production and his growth going forward. And I just wanted to
Mm-hmm.
see a slight progression and just hope that it got better and better. Uh, to my surprise, he had probably his best game of the season thus far. I think the two best game outputs for the Panthers this year was this game that we just had against Green Bay and the game against the Seahawks. That game, both games, you saw the offense do some good things, um, attacking downfield, attacking the defense, not looking one dimensional, not looking too hesitant or too scared to try to move the ball. So
Mm-hmm.
I saw some good things from Bryce. I saw some good things from the wide receivers. DJ Chalk finally showed up and showed out. Okay. Um the line got better. This is one thing I wanted to point out. The line got better once Gabe Jackson came in for Nash Jensen. Now, there's no disrespect or anything like that to Nash Jensen. It's just that the right side of the offensive line operated better with Gabe Jackson in there, and you can also see how that reflected on Bradley Bozeman in the middle because he didn't have to worry about that right guard that right side of the line or that right guard too much. And he could concentrate more fully on his job. And as a whole, I think the line had a pretty good day. Even though we didn't run the ball as consistently like we had the past 2 or 3 weeks, but we was able to give Bryce some protection, and he was able to show you exactly what he can do when you give him time in the pocket. So for all those naysayers out there, people that's been on, talking about Bryce, he's a bust, too short, arm ain't strong enough, whatever else is out there in the ether. I hope this has quieted the storm a little bit. Because again, the man showed you exactly what he can do when he has time in the pocket, and his receivers are getting open and catching the ball.
Okay. All right. All
What
right.
about you, Cuz? What did you see? I'm trying to stick to the positives right now. I guess we'll get to the negatives in a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, the one thing that I liked, um, and I think it's been happening a little bit more and more each game since Thomas Brown got the play calling back. The offense is opening up some. Okay. And mind you, you
Right,
still see some of the same plays. And I said this when I was watching the game on Sunday. DJ Chark had a catch, and there were like three defenders around him, and it was a comeback route. And Bryce put it on the money. But the thing was, he was open. Okay. And I think that
right,
he was
right,
open because of the routes that were being run by the other receivers on the other side of the field. Now, when you got four people going there, all of them doing comeback routes 20 yards down the field, that's easy for any defense to be like, okay, we've seen this on tape. We know exactly what they're about to do. Here, what we're gonna call. Okay. But
exactly.
I've definitely seen some some variation in the play calling. Emir Smith Marset has definitely been a big part of the game plan the past 2 weeks, and it paid off this week. You know, we
Oh,
saw that same play last week against the Falcons. This time he took it to the house for a touchdown. Okay.
yeah,
Like you said, Nash Jensen was getting his ass handed to him in the early parts of that game. Here comes Gabe Jackson, and this has been 2 weeks in a row, y'all. 2 weeks in a row. Nash Jensen had to
that's
take his
right.
butt to the bench. Gabe Jackson comes in, and you see a drastic difference on that right side of the offensive line. So, hopefully going forward, I mean, I would love to see, maybe Gabe get a chance to start, but that's not my call. So, we'll see how it goes from here on out. Um, I love what
I
Bryce
think
Young
I think
did.
he will start.
Okay, I love what Bryce Young did. All right. One thing I will say is that when he threw the ball, I mean, he just let it go. You know what I mean? It wasn't a whole lot
Yeah,
of hesitation when he had his feet set and when he knew where the ball was going, and he let it rip. Okay, so I did like that. Um, Now with Bryce, okay. Now this is not going to quell all the people that saying Bryce is a bust and he's too short and this and that and the third. Oh, they still there, okay.
right,
They're
right.
still there. They had they took five after the game because this was exactly what a lot of them have been saying. It's like, oh, well, if we see some signs, we ain't we'll be happy with that. All we gotta do is we just need to see some signs of him doing something. Well, they saw some signs. Okay. Like I said, I think they're gonna take maybe a day or two off. They'll be right back at it before the end of the week. Okay. But
No doubt.
but one thing I will say, and it's one thing I know that all the Bryce haters are gonna bring up, and one thing that I want to see too. Now, this is one game. Okay. This is one game.
Right,
Can we repeat this performance next week versus the Jaguars? Can we do this again? Okay, because
right,
one game is one game, but you got to be able to do this consistently. We it would be nice if we could pull off both of these games to end the season. And I mean, if the Panthers offense can play like this against the Jaguars and again against the Buccaneers, I mean, who knows? But
right,
offensively, I was happy with the game. I was happy with everything they did, how they ran it. I wish they would have started off a little stronger in the beginning, may have helped, but it didn't happen that way. But still, we showed a lot of fight, and we got back in the game with a chance to win all the way to the very end. Okay, but now let's get into our next subject. The thing that I think both of us didn't like about this game was the damn defense and special teams. Talk about
man.
let down
Listen,
of the year right here, buddy. Let down. I mean, Green Bay's first drive, Aaron Jones looked like he was running straight to the Pro Bowl. The man has only had 300 something yards all season, and he damn near got half of that against our defense.
he almost had 100 yards rushing in the first quarter.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he had 89 yards in the first quarter, and he ended with
Yep.
God was I don't have the stats in front of me.
127, something like that, like
127.
127. They finished
Yeah.
with like 162 total as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But then it was like, okay, so they kind of sort of got the Packers run game under control, and then here comes Jordan Love, just doing down the field, throwing the ball, and his receivers were coming up with clutch catches, and a lot of it was on third down too. We stop him on first, stop him on second. You get the third down. There's Tucker Craft or whoever it was somewhere in the middle of the field, wide open, catching the ball. Yeah, so I was very disappointed in the defense yesterday, and also our special teams. And when I say special teams, I mean solely Eddie Pinero. He was the hero last
yeah,
week. Because a lot. This is what I heard all last week. You know, Eddie did win us the game, but a lot of people were using his name in place of the offense driving down the field to get in position for that touchdown. Because everybody wanted to say, oh,
right,
Bryce led us down the field. And all I kept hearing is, nah, Bryce didn't do nothing. Eddie Pinero won that game for us. Okay. Which he
right,
did.
right.
And then you can you can say in this game that Eddie may have lost it for us because he missed 2 extra points, 2 extra points. Okay. And just think if he'd have made both of those extra points and then Carolina would have, were feeling themselves later on in the game, went for a 2 point conversion on that last touchdown, um, to try and take the lead or try to make it at least a 3 point game instead of having to get it to tie the game, it may be a different story. Okay.
That's
But
true.
but that's just my thoughts on the defense, man. What about you, Tony?
Huh. So let's just talk about that run defense, man. It's something that we've been talking about and harping on all year. And Green Bay came in there and took advantage of it, man. The leakage in the middle of that defense of that defensive line in the middle of the defensive line and those linebackers reared its ugly head. For the past
Mm-hmm.
couple weeks, it has been said that that our defense has gotten better. It was tightening up. We definitely got better with the run game. And
It
I
did.
don't know, did they get too comfortable? Did they start feeling themselves or whatnot? It was like from what I saw, especially on that first drive, it was nobody in our front seven was taking their gap responsibilities like they should have.
Mm-hmm.
There was no gap control. Linebackers include Frankie Louvu and Google Hill overrunning the play, and that was just an easy cutback for Aaron Jones, and he was killing us with that same cutback. Each and every
Indeed.
time. Then, you had JC Horn with that phantom tackle, out there looking like Shaq Thompson. I didn't know what the hell that was all about. And I'm saying, like, I know JC Horn tackles better than that. He almost looked like Dante Jackson, when they running Dante
Bruh.
Jackson like that. So I was shocked at that, you know. Um, but yeah, the day when the offense finally comes alive and gives you an opportunity to win the game, put you in position to win the game, the
Mm-hmm.
defense shits the bed. Now
Pretty
make that
much.
make sense. Cause I I can't make that make sense. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, that defense, yeah, I ain't gonna go on and on about it. It just it is what it is. They didn't show up when they needed to. But still,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the game, if there was one more second left on the clock, we could have tied the game and gone into overtime. And we who knows what would have happened,
Mm-hmm.
then. But the boys put forth a good effort, man, a valiant effort, and I'm proud of them. Even in the loss, I'm proud of them.
Yeah. But you know what though? What's crazy is, I don't know if it seems this way to you, but it seems like our biggest problem all year long outside of the obvious. Um, but it's like our team never shows up at the same time. Okay,
Yeah,
it's like when the offense, which is really only been two games this year, and I'll say it was Seattle and this past game against the Packers, offense had an outstanding day, defense crapped the bed. Okay. Then for like
yeah.
the past 3 or 4 weeks, defense has had stellar games. Offense completely crapped the bed. You know, the weather last week against the Falcons was probably the equalizer. All right. But it just we can never all get together on the same page as far as our team. We haven't had that day where it was just a complete game by the defense, a complete game by the offense, a complete game, by the special teams. It's always somebody's missing. Somebody's always on CP time. They show up late, don't show up at all. By the time they feel like getting here, all the potato salad is gone, the chicken is, you know what I mean? It just like, you always got that one person at the family cookout that don't never make it when they supposed to. And the Panthers have been taking turns on who that one person is, whether it be the defense, the offense, special teams, coaching, play calling. I mean, just however you want to put it. You know what
Not
I
not
mean?
only do they come late, they come empty-handed.
Empty hand. Thank you. Yes. Come empty handed and want to leave with 10 plates.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that has definitely been our biggest problem. One of our biggest problems all year long. It's like two
Yeah,
phases show up. Now, special teams hasn't really been a issue per se. I think the only thing you think about them thus far this season was the other game. I forgot who it was where Hecker got that punt block. The Saints game.
yeah,
Hecker got the
thanks.
punt
Yeah,
block and they took
thanks.
it back for a touchdown. But I mean, they've scored a touchdown this year with against the Bears with Amir Smith Marset. So it's just I just be happy when all three phases of the game will show up and be in sync together. Hopefully we can pull that off. The next 2 weeks versus the Jaguars, in Jacksonville, and the home finale against the Buccaneers. So we'll see. We'll see.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
hopefully.
hopefully. All right. But what I wanted also to talk about today was the officiating. Okay. Now, throughout the game,
Sorry
there
ass
were a
ref.
few. I think there were a few, suspect calls. Um, I would
Very
say that
suspect.
roughing the passer on Utir Gross Matos. I,
Bogus.
I mean, like,
That
dog,
was
like, come
bogus.
come on. Then,
That was
and,
bogus.
and my thing is this, okay? So you had Bryce get his clock clean. Well, not his clock clean, but he definitely got like forearm from behind and planted in the dirt after the ball was gone. Not a single call. And I saw that same call called the very next game, Dallas and Miami. They called that very same call on Michael Parsons against Tua. The very
Mm,
same call. Okay. Then there was another play. I think it was when Smith Marset got the ball, got out of bounds, 2 feet out of bounds, then got hit to the ground, slid out the sidelines. No call. Okay. All right. And
yeah.
then the big one. The big one was the catch by who was it, Romeo Dobbs near the end of the
Yeah,
game.
Ramon Dobbs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, anybody out there watching this, please chime in the comments and let us know. Um, do you think that call has been consistently made across the NFL, or was it a situation where he caught the ball, they deemed him to be down in bounds, and then when he got out of bounds, he rolled over and the ball fell out? Because I may be wrong, but I think I've definitely seen play after play like that where the receiver has caught the ball, in bounds, and then when they go out of bounds and whatever happens to that ball, is still a part of the catch. And Tony, you got your hand up, so go ahead, sir.
Yeah. To answer the first part of that question, no, it is not. The second part of that question is, even though he caught the ball and hit the ground inbounds, you're still post. It's still under the rules. It still should have been an incomplete pass because he did not complete the catch. The catch was not completed. Then somebody, one of the commentators, somebody said something about, oh well, he made a football move. Please tell me what football move you make
Where?
when you are on the ground rolling out of bounds. That I mean,
None.
how is that a football move?
It
So
wasn't.
the officiating was horrible. I can say it. We can say it. We ain't gonna get
Mm-hmm.
fined. The officiating was horrible. It was one sided. It seemed like to me that they was trying to do everything in their power to make sure Green Bay got the victory. Now I don't ever say that. Never had. But from this game Sunday was definitely one sided. And it's crazy because usually you see the home team get some type of favoritism a little bit from the officials. You know what I'm saying? Well, you might as well
Yeah.
think we were playing at Lambeau Field this past week, the way that the officiating was going for the Packers. So, bah humbug to the officials.
But I mean, we are what, 2 and 13 now.
13,
We
2 and
we we, we
13.
two
Yes,
and
sir.
13. I mean, I can't really expect no favoritism from the officials. When it comes to making calls. So hey, but
Man,
but
they don't
what
want
I
that.
do expect is them to be fair, okay, and
Right.
down the middle. And let me tell you, so me and my wife sitting downstairs, and it's funny because she brings this up damn near every week when we watch the football game. She says, now they make Bryce Young's ass trot out there that damn podium every single week. Win, lose, he looks good, he looks terrible, he gets up there, he takes the blame. You know everything that goes on. My wife has said this, and I would
Yep.
love to see them do this. I know it's not going to happen, but I love to see them do it. She says, make them officials get their narrow asses up there on the mic after the game and explain themselves and why they made them calls. You know what I
That
mean?
would be something to see. That was, oh
Make them
Lord, that
get
would
up
be something
there,
to see.
make them explain themselves why they made the call, why this, why this was that. Let them reporters get up there and torch them, and let them, especially the ones that remember everything from every single game from here way back to when football started. Well, this was called in this game. This was the same situation, but why was the call different in this game back on March 3rd, 2004? I'm not March, but September
Yeah,
23rd, 2004, something like that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Now, mind you, like I
It,
said, I don't think it's gonna happen, but that would, I don't know. Go ahead, Tony.
the 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 officials remind me so much of the Supreme Court. Like the officials in the NFL or sports in general and the Supreme Court are unregulated. It's like you
Mm-hmm.
can't say nothing about
Nope.
anything that they do. Like there's no
Facts.
accountability for when they make a mistake. We know when they mess up or whatnot. It just, oh well, we acknowledge it. Can't nothing be done about it. They just move on. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Oh
There's
yeah.
no fine. There's no slap on the hand. There's no suspension.
No
There's none of
nothing.
that. And they cost people games. Like the
Yep.
officials should not be the deciding factors in games. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Period. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what sport it is. They should never be the deciding factor when it comes to a game. That's not what they're there for. That's
Mm-hmm.
not what they're there for.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would you tell cuz I'm behind her 1,000%. I would love to see them hold their feet to the fire. It would never
Mm-hmm.
happen, but we can dream and
Yeah.
wishful thinking.
Hey, let me tell you, I bet you them calls will get more consistent across the league from game to game. I guarantee you that much.
Already. You already
I,
know.
I
You
guarantee you that
already know.
much. I
You
guarantee
already know.
you.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Well, next subject. Let's talk about our quarterback a little bit, okay? Bryce Young.
Okay. BY9. BY9.
All right. So by far his best game of the season. All right.
Facts.
To me, he looked like he threw the ball with conviction. You know, like I said
Facts.
before, he let it rip. All right. Now, one thing I
Facts.
will say that I do need him to work on, his ball placement. He's still a little bit behind on some of them throws, but with some of them, like that touchdown pass to DJ Chark, he put something on it. All right, it was a tad bit
Yeah.
behind him. I think it went through the defender's hands, but he had enough force behind it where it got to DJ Chark. It was a touchdown. And, but then again,
Yeah.
there was some of his other throws, like that one-handed throw, the one-handed catch by Adam Thielen. Now, mind you, that was placed out there, and I think the defender had his other arm, pinned down, but
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
ball
Yeah.
was led.
Hmm.
Yeah, that ball was led perfectly. Adam Thielen had a chance to make the catch. DJ Chark on that
Made a
last
great
touchdown.
catch.
Yeah, on that last
Yeah.
touchdown, made a great catch. And then back to back weeks on the final drive. Now, mind you, we were able to win against Atlanta. We came up short this week against the Packers. But DJ Chark had another toe tapping catch out of bounds. Nice throw by Bryce Young. Okay.
Yep.
But
Yep.
like I said earlier, I think the offensive play calling is starting to come around. Now, mind you, it's too late in the season for it to mean anything for us, as far as any chance of any kind of postseason hopes, because we've been eliminated for a few weeks now. But
Yeah.
you know, hopefully, if nothing else, it can remain consistent and Bryce can have another good showing next week and then hopefully another good showing versus Tampa Bay, because at this point we just want to see him improve. We want to see everybody improve. But especially Bryce, he's the number one pick. He's had one hell of a season. This man has caught more flack than
Facts.
anybody that I can remember in Panthers history, since Cam Newton. I mean, and Cam ain't been that far ago, but this season Bryce he's definitely caught hell, through and through. But on the same hand, we gotta see this more than one game. Okay, we've got to see this more than
Right.
one game. He has to show some consistency. All right, the play calling has to show some consistency. The offensive line, now they have shown, more consistency in these past few games than they've had all season. They have done a lot better job blocking for him these past few games. He has had more time than he's had all season, but I want to see that continue as far as this offense goes. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I just think overall he had a great game. His best game of the season. And like I said, look, I'm already ready for next week. I just want to see if this can hold up. What about you, Tom?
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing that, like I said, we talked about ever since the beginning of the season. When you come into a situation where you got a new head coach, new offense coordinator, new defense coordinator, it's going to take time for everything to gel. Now, what you would like to have seen the defense be able to help the defense be able to help the offense out a little bit as
Mm-hmm.
the offense, you know, try to slowly but surely gain steam. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Until they get to that point to now where you start to see a little bit more consistency, in the run game, consistency on the offensive line, consistency from your quarterback. It was never going to be something that was just going to happen overnight. And I was hoping that the defense would put us in a better position to win some of the games or win some of the games for us defensively if they could. But I like his progression, because everything right now to me is about Bryce Young in his progression. And like I said, at the beginning of earlier when we talked, when you put a line in front of him and that line can block and give him time to throw the ball, more times than not, he's going to complete it. He's going to be accurate. He's going to put the ball where it needs to be. He's going to make good decisions. I don't think he's thrown an interception in like what 2 or 3 weeks.
Mm-mm.
He hasn't
No.
thrown an interception or turned the ball over in 2 or 3 weeks. So these are just little small little things that you get to see, or that I wanted to see in the progression as we move forward. And like you said, if we can end on a good note, even for me, even if we don't win, if Bryce can go out and have a game, the last 2 games like he just had this game, and show that progression that I've been talking about, I think that sets him up well going into next season. Now, depending on who the head coach is, who the offensive coordinator is, who the scheme is, we have to wait and see. Honestly and truly, I would love to see. I was thinking about this earlier today. I would love to see Tepper do something unconventional. I would love to see. I know it's probably a long shot, but I would love to see him make Chris Tabor the head coach, and he keep Ejero and keep Thomas Brown going forward. Reason why I say that, and I know it sounds crazy, but the reason why I say that because it allows the consistency of everything that Bryce has learned this year, especially from an offensive point of view. That allows him to go into next season, study the playbook some more, work on some things, come back. He already know that playbook. He's gotten better. Things are going to be a little bit more easier to him. And then he could probably be off and running. But you coming in with a new offense coordinator, somebody with a new scheme, new playbook. Now you starting all over again. He's starting the process. Now we're back at square one. Okay, we're back at square one. So I would just like to see some type of consistency for him to still be there at the end of the season and going into next season, regardless of who the head coach is. At least keep Thomas Brown and Bryce Young together.
Okay.
That's my
Hey
pitch.
man, don't start talking common sense things around here now. They're gonna get you in the comment section. But you know what?
Hey,
Now I think that would open up a whole nother can of worms. Cause could you imagine if Tepper kept Chris Tabor as the head coach, Thomas Brown offensive coordinator, Everose defensive coordinator, kept that same staff in place? Could you imagine what the hissy fit that a lot of us would have, going back to where we felt like that should have been done last season too? We should have kept Steve Wilkes, and we should have
right.
kept that staff and everybody on it going forward. I can just I can just see that. But
I mean, I'm saying I get it. I get it, and I'm pretty sure it would be there.
yeah, but you know what though, I'm not against that. I'm really not against that though. if if we come out these last 2 games of the season, okay, and we have efforts like we had offensively, this last game versus the Packers, and the defense can get back on the bus and ride to the games with us and show up. You know what I mean? If they can do that,
Yeah.
I don't have no issue with this, because like you said, it is building off of what, little bit of success we may or may not, depending on these last couple games,
Right.
you know, but like you said, it's not a whole new system. Now mind you, I think that Thomas Brown will probably be implementing a lot of new things into the system,
Right.
because he's still working with Frank's playbook, and he's slowly but surely trying to incorporate some of his own stuff, his own scheme, his own game plan into it. But like
Right.
I forgot who else said it. It was like you can't just dismantle the playbook in a couple games and install a new playbook in the middle of the season.
Right.
So
Right.
he's
Right.
working with what he has, and I think he's doing a good job of it right now. But yeah, I wouldn't be totally against that. I would not be totally
Yeah.
against it. That would, if they didn't do it, and that would be potentially 2 seasons in a row where you had somebody come in, capture the locker room, get them behind them, and then you say, you know what, we thank you, but get the hell out. So
Right. But even if you didn't keep Chris Tabor as the head coach, What if he elevated Ejiro Rivero the head coach and he kept Thomas Brown as offense coordinator? Like just some you need that consistency in that
Mm-hmm.
chemistry. To me, that will be more important than anything because you bring in a whole new regime. We're starting this whole cycle
All over again.
all
Yeah.
over again. So, like you said, let Thomas Brown keep him, let him redo the playbook, add some things in there, keep things that they like from this year,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, and add to that. That to me, that would just help Bryce in his learning curve going forward. It won't be no automatic reset for him.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
that I wouldn't have an issue with that either because the word is and the feeling is from everybody that if Ejiro is not made head coach here or whatever, he's gone. Like he's not going to be our defensive coordinator next year. Somebody is going to get him and make him a head coach for another organization. So we'll see.
We'll
And
see. Yeah.
as we all know, the Panthers have always had an issue with letting people go that they should have kept, and they go to different places and they thrive. And then we're
Yes, they
sitting back
have.
and we're left asking ourselves, well, man, well, why couldn't we have kept that person? Eh, So,
Right. Right. No,
yeah.
you're right. You're absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yep.
absolutely correct.
But yeah, man, but we're gonna go ahead and close this out. But before we get out of here, Tony, what you want to see next week versus the Jaguars?
The same thing that I saw this week, except for the defense. I want to see them tighten up. I want to see
Mm-hmm.
them come to the party like they came to the party the past 2 or 3 weeks. I think we have a good opportunity from all accounts from what has been spoken of. Trevor Lawrence sprained his shoulder this Sunday. Uh, I forgot who they played, but came
Mm-hmm.
out today that he has a sprained shoulder. So there's a
Oh
possibility
man.
that he may not even play Sunday. So if he don't, you have I think his name not Bobby Beathard, CJ Beathard. CJ
Mm-hmm.
Beathard would be the starting quarterback. So the defense will have a chance to get at the quarterback, somebody that we can pressure, hopefully force him into some mistakes, and we can take advantage of that. And the offense come out there and do what they did against the Packers, but like you mentioned earlier, get an earlier head start. Like to see Bryce Young hit on some of those throws that he missed early on in the game. If he can come out connect if he can come out and connect in the first half like he did in the second half, I think we'll be in great position.
Okay. I'm with you on that one. Also, I want to see Gabe Jackson get the start this weekend coming up. Hopefully
Already.
solidify that right side of the offensive line. And one thing I'll probably make a short on this, but I want to see our boy Taylor Moton. I'm about tired of him letting somebody come across his side of the field and get to the quarterback. And it's funny because I saw the play in our game, and then I saw a play exactly like it in the Raiders game when they played the Chiefs. All right, everybody on the offensive line blocked down except for the right tackle, but the right tackle swung back
Yeah.
around and picked up the free man. There was another play in our game, the exact same play. Everybody else blocked down to the left, and Taylor Moton just kind of went with him and sat there and just looking around with his hands up like this, and there's the defender
And
going
then
running
turn
past him.
around late. Yeah. I saw
Yeah,
it. I
very
saw it.
late.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
think a matter of fact, I think that was like a 4th and 2. I think it was
it
like a
was it
fourth and two.
it was
Something
definitely
like
one of the
that. We
short
was
yards
going yeah.
plays. Hmm.
Hmm.
Definitely one of those short yards plays. But like you said, yeah, I want to see the defense show up. It would be nice this game if the offense could come out and take control, score a couple touchdowns first, and the defense can get us some stops instead of it kind of being the usual where it's the other way around. And then if the offense, can, which they haven't a lot this year, be able to come back and make a game of it. So, but yeah,
Right,
but
right.
but we shall see though. We shall see. But that's another episode for us here at Two Fans in the Stands. Thank you for joining us. And as always, if you haven't already, Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notification bells so you know when our videos come out. We appreciate all the love and support so far. We are steadily approaching our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Okay, and take you out like I do every week. Number one, y'all be good. Number two, y'all be safe. And number three, as always, y'all keep pounding.